All right, so you guys, tonight we are going to talk a little bit about some concepts that came out of a book that Mel and Ellen and I read. If you guys want to read it, it's called Above the Line. And it's by a guy named Urban Meyer. And it's called Lessons in Leadership and Life from a Championship Program. He was, until just a couple weeks ago, the head football coach for Ohio State. And you know, they're like amazing. So I'll show you the cover of the book here. You guys can you guys see that? Okay. So I love his concept, and Mel, you can chime in whenever you want. I'm going to get my notes out here. But he talks about this whole idea of a team, and just in your life and everything, you have a choice on how you show up every day, and you live your life either above the line or below the line, right? And I love that concept because it's kind of like, well, I don't feel like working today. Well, that's below the line, right? Or, oh, yeah, you know, I should have probably returned somebody's phone call, but I didn't. That's below the line. Or being in the middle of the forest and calling in for the team call is above the line, right? That's way above the line. So, so you guys kind of get the concept of that. And he runs the whole team with the fact that every single team, so you know, what we're going to talk about is you guys growing a team. You guys are all here because you guys are the leaders and growing a team. And as you guys start to grow a team, you got to think of yourself as like the head coach of your team, okay? And as your team grows, you would never, ever possibly be able to touch every single person on your team, right? Like that would be impossible for me to do. So that's why in football, they have 9 different units and a coach for each one of those. So as you're putting people in on your team, you know, like Jamie, you are a unit leader. Okay. Sue, you're a unit leader. You're all unit leaders, right? That you've got to know that you are part of the whole team, even if you have this piece a part of your team. Does that make sense? Okay, so, you know, you might be the defensive coordinator, but the defensive coordinator and his guys are part of the team as a whole. And realizing that you all play an important part of being on the team. You all play an important little piece of the cog, right? So I loved that concept because it's so true. And being part of that whole team is how you have the culture to be able to win that game. Because if you're the defensive coordinator, you can't exactly win the game without the quarterback, right? And the quarterback coach and all their people. So, Mel, you want to add anything to that before I get my notes out?
Yeah, no, I just think, you know, this idea of being, you know, one team, one mission on this really, really big purpose that we have together. And why, I mean, yes, we want to grow our teams, and yes, we, you know, want to grow our paychecks, and we want to help a bunch of people get healthy, but, you know, really having this bigger picture mission of us all being on this, intertwined in this mission together, the impact that we can have all showing up above the line, I just think can be really impactful, and not only help a whole lot of people, but also help ourselves and help. Honestly, I feel like leverage. I love this idea of like the different units and helping us, you know, to leverage the impact that we're having, really just for health and for, you know, living the lives that we all want to live, and being the most impactful in the world as, you know, a big group together. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So here are just a couple of the takeaways. Just right in the first paragraph, it says, you know, becoming a truly effective leader is a big challenge. And like everything else important in this world, it doesn't happen all at once. You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to go run a marathon. I thought of you, Rachel, when this was up. You just don't wake up and say, I'm going to go run a marathon and then take off for 26.2 miles. You train, you work diligently on building the fitness and mindset that you need to achieve your goal. And it's no different in any leadership program. You just don't pull into the office one day and decide, I'm going to become a great leader today. And he says you also don't get it just by watching inspirational videos. You actually have to start training and working and doing and learning as you go. So The performance of a team rises or falls on behavior. Winning behavior is intentional, on purpose, and skillful. It's above the line. But it's easier to be impulsive, on autopilot, and resistant. Any of you guys ever feel like you're on autopilot and resistant?
Uh-huh.
Missy's laughing because I just told you today, go have coffee with somebody. So how do you feel resistant? Tell me about a situation where you feel resistant. Where do you get resistant?
I feel like for me, it's probably like the hosting events piece. I feel resistant because in my mind, it's like people aren't going to come, you know? And so then I'm like, well, they just don't work for me, or I'll get in that mindset. So then you get more resistant. But then I think you have to look at, like, for example, I just had some folks over the other day just to have people over. And I would say of the people I invited, right? And this was just like some couples to come over and have a barbecue. A lot of them couldn't make it, right? So it's not, I need to put in perspective that it's not Juice Plus. People are just busy.
Yeah, people are people, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, and yeah, I can totally relate to that, Jen, and where that's coming from. And also, you know, Garrett and I are hiking the Pacific Crest Trail right now. And we woke up this morning thinking, okay, we had already done, 18 miles yesterday. We're like, oh my gosh, are we really going to do it again today? And, another 18 miles. We're on 16 right now with a few more to go. But he mentioned to me, he's like, the more you do this and every day you wake up, you get the opportunity to practice. And it just made so much sense with and the more we practice, the better we get. And if the analogy is a team, like a football team, and then in different units, everybody shows up to practice every day. And that's, I feel like, the piece where there's just major opportunity, because the more we invite to events and you get to learn, like, oh my gosh, well, people are just busy. That wasn't about me. And you just continue to do the activity, that practice that we get in by just doing the activity. I think about the call, what we did with Vicki McGonigal. She did a whole bunch of stuff scared. Last week we just talked about that. She did a whole bunch of it scared, but the more she went out into the world and doing what we do, she's so much better at it now. And that practice comes. And I mean, I think as a team, like, that's really just us going out, doing stuff, being brave and doing stuff, the better we get at it.
Yeah. That's so true. So I have not been working out like I should have been because, well, Richard had surgery and we've just been busy. And honestly, it's my fault. I didn't make time for it. So today I said to Richard, you and I are going to go throw ourselves off the hill, and we live up at 7,900 feet. So it's pretty easy to get a pretty good workout. So we hiked to the bottom and hiked back up, and I was like dying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what you get when you don't show up every day. Like, it's hard, right? And I can totally make that change. And I know that the only way that will change is for me to continue to throw myself off the hill and hike back up. So, we can all do that. And I think in our business, we get to a place where sometimes we're there in our business. And it's like I said to Missy today, I said, just go schedule coffee with somebody, go do something, right? Especially right now, because everybody's busy getting their kids back to school and it's hard, right? We're out of practice. We've had summer, and it's like, start setting up some appointments and just do something, set up an event and start inviting. Usually what you do is you set up the event and then figure out who's going to come. So, do that. Okay. One of the things he says, beware of BCD. Do you guys know what BCD is? Mm-hmm. Blame, complain, and defend. Because when we get resistant, it's really easy. Jen, you nailed it when you said, oh, it's not Juice Plus. It's really just go, oh, it's just Juice Plus. Nobody wants to drink Juice Plus, right? They don't want to drive all the way out to my house or whatever, right? So we get kind of defensive with that. And he says, BCD has never solved a problem, achieved a goal, or improved a relationship. Stop wasting your time and energy on something that will never help you. Ruthlessly eliminate BCD from your life. Isn't that great? Okay. The other one he has is E plus R equals O. So the event plus response equals the outcome. And every day you make are factor decisions, result factor decisions. You choose what actions you will take or not in pursuit of your goals. You choose whether to give up or persevere through the inevitable obstacles you will experience. You choose how to interact with people at work and family at home. Every day you make decisions about how to respond, and how you respond makes all the difference. It's the factor that determines the quality of your life. So I think we all want to, as we're resetting here, we want to be thinking about, what do you want to do, and just start with something. You guys, one thing leads to another, and it's that momentum that we want to kind of kick back in right now. Mel, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah. No, I totally love this equation. I don't know why it completely resonated with me. I'm like, I know I can't control the events that are happening in my life. And the only thing I can actually control is how I react to them. And how you react basically, affects the outcome. And oftentimes I realize that even the way that I react may not get me the outcome that I want, but it helps me to stay true to myself. It helps me to feel good about where I am and what I'm doing, and that I'm moving forward, even if it doesn't get me the outcome that I want. The only thing I can control is how I respond. And I just think that, so much of that and how we work and how we do work with Jesus. Vicky talked on the call last week. Her favorite thing is follow-up. Like, oh my gosh, I cringed and follow-up. Attitude towards it, right? And how we react to, the things that, like what we said, blame or, the CBD stuff. Did you say CBD? Complain? Is that what it is? Is that the acronym? Complain, blame, and defend.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Mel. You're breaking up just a little bit.
Oops.
Yeah, so.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Sorry, did you get anything that I said?
Yeah, I think we got the gist of what you
said. Okay, good.
Yeah, you're right. So the blame, complain, and deny. And then, when you do get stressed, you're going to show up, not how you want, but how you trained. So how have you been showing up, right? How have you been approaching your business or whatever, right? That's how you're going to show up, especially when times get tough. So you were trained for this, right? That's what happens. And you never know when your opportunity is going to come. You have to be prepared. And so now is the time to do that. This is another one I love. He says, elite performance requires elite preparation. It requires mental and physical reps, and we place a premium on both. Competitors have a fierce desire to win. They desire to excel, and they hate to lose. They have a powerful combination of drive and discipline, the drive to do the work necessary to prepare, and the discipline to do the work right. This spirit, the spirit of a competitor, is what separates the elite from the average. We call it competitive excellence. It's about preparing mentally and physically to compete on game day so that when your number's called, you're ready to make the play. So, anyway, so what do you guys think about this? You guys want to read the book? It's so good for sports and business and everything, right?
I think it sounds great. I'd love to read it. Sorry, Rachel.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as somebody who was an athlete my whole life and been successful in science research, I think, I want to read the book because it definitely resonates with me. It sounds like it would resonate with me, and do they be speaking my language? Something interesting I heard on a podcast this week, though, is what really made me realize is, that there's different levels that you're at. Obviously, you start out as kind of your like elementary school rec league, and then you're kind of have to keep moving on to that club competitive level, and then maybe you're collegiate JV level, and then if you're lucky you get to varsity, and then really put the effort in, maybe you get to pro someday. And that I think was a kind of a real harsh realization for me of just like what that I realized that that I'm a rec league, elementary school rec league player, and and that there's a lot of work. And when you think about it that way, go, okay, you know, you just got to put in the reps. You like my kids who are playing soccer, we tell them you just got to get the touches on the ball every single day. Like,
Yes.
And the touches on the ball, like it adds up over time. It seems like nothing. It seems so piddly, and then you realize that, but you have no hope of ever making JV or varsity or you know, anything beyond rec league if you don't put in
Right.
get those touches on the ball. And you know, or swinging the bat as the you know, the Aussies said. I think those and I just got to keep putting in those efforts, I guess.
Yep. There's also a principle called the 10-80-10 principle. He calls it the playbook. Every team or organization consists of 3 groups, and I think this is so true for Juice Plus. The top 10%, they're disciplined, driven, self-motivated, they want to be great, and they work relentlessly. And then the 80% is the majority, those who do a good job and are relatively reliable. And then there's the bottom 10% that are disinterested and defiant. I don't know that we have defiant here, but the key to success is moving as many of the 80%ers into the top 10% as you can. Time is a limited resource, so stop wasting it trying to motivate the bottom 10%. I love that because so many of us, when we first get started, we bring on brand new team members and we're all excited and they maybe don't want to do anything. And we let it slow us down for 2 years. Oh, they're not doing anything. They're a 10%er. They're not supposed to, you know, they're the bottom 10%.
Right.
You want to be really thinking about who you guys are spending your time with and giving your time to, and keep adding people to your team, because you will find the 10 and the 80, the top 10 and the 80%ers that you can work with. And the other ones, they're just part of it. It's just what it is, right? There's not much we can do about it. But we can be grateful that they're there and having a good product experience, and we can always save a spot for them in the 80%, the next row up, right?
Reagan, can I just say that Lauren Laval, when she was speaking, and if Judy's on the call, then she can back me up on this, but Lauren always says, she said, look, those 10%, it's like trying to awaken the dead. Why do you want to do that? She was so funny, and she just said, move on, go find new people. She says, don't try to wake the dead. They'll come in their own time frame if they choose to. So very funny.
Well, I have a fun contest to share with you, but first, Mel, is there anything you want to add?
No, you know, I just think, you know, the people that are showing up, everybody here on the call, the, you know, people that have been showing up this summer, you guys, I just would say, you know, you're our leaders on our team, and it takes all of us to kind of step up and be the leaders here. I mean, this is all of us. This is what we're creating together, and the impact that we can have just multiplies as we lead and as we step up to kind of take on these little, you know, these different pods, like Reagan was saying. I just think that us all kind of doing it together and figuring out along the way. I don't think there's a magic formula for doing this, but it is just getting out there and, like Rachel said, you know, touching Juice Plus every day, touching the ball every day, and we get better when we do that, and we get better as a team, and we get better, and we continue to grow. So,
yep, absolutely.
I think that's it. So, yeah.
All right. So
love the book, and
sorry, go ahead.
I would just say I love the book, and it's a really quick read. It's super entertaining. Just listen to it on Audible if you can. It's awesome.
It's got a lot of football, so you can hit, if you're not into that, you can just
if you like football.
Yeah. Okay. So we put together a fun little magic momentum contest for you guys. Everybody can win. So don't think that there's, you know, you can't win. Everybody can. And so our goal, September 1st through October 12th, which is right before the week before we head off to conference, if you have 10 live conversations about Juice Plus with people per week, that would be 2 per day times 5 days. You can spread it out over 7 if you want to, but I prefer like to do, can I talk to 2 people today? You know, maybe you could talk to 5 people, and maybe you could talk to 20 people every day, right? You guys can decide, but 10 or more people a week. Then what you'll do is before Sunday, so I won't check until Monday morning, but I have a timestamp on there. You have to put it in by Sunday. You'll go to our team website, and we're going to ask, you know, some information like who'd you talk to, what happened, so we can kind of start tracking, you know, what's going on. And then also, if you guys feel like you need some help with this, you can reach out to one of us and we can do 3-way calls or do a touch base call or whatever it is you need. But we're going to pay whoever does that $20 a week. So guess what? That almost covers your conference ticket. Okay. So little motivation. I will tell you, it's not that hard to talk to 2 people a day.
All right.
Hey, Reagan, an idea might be, if I don't know if everyone has Teamsy or not, but and Judy might be able to speak to this a little better because I never did it. But we can take, if you're putting who you talk to into Teamsy, you can take a screenshot of that and post it, like either, I don't know.
Group.
Yeah, and be able to share that.
Yep, we could do that. I would love to see what's going on. And we're definitely going to be, whoever enters, we're going to be highlighting you each week as well. So, you know, we did the 100 squares, so you guys can keep track with your 100 squares. But, you know, if we break it down per week, we kind of feel like it might be a little more doable for you guys to do that. But what you can't do is talk to your husband and your dog or your same customers you've had, okay, unless you're asking them to join your team. So it's the honor system, and you guys know we're talking about 2 new people a day. Like, you can go, like, this is how I got to National Marketing Director, you guys, is I did 2 people a day, Monday through Friday. And we had CDs then, and I put it out on the corner of my counter every day, and I had to leave my house and find a home for those CDs. Or I had to be on the phone and be mailing them to somebody, right? So I was talking to somebody, at least 2 people a day, finding a home for this. And it's amazing when you open up your brain to this. Like, I would say a little prayer and say, dear Lord, please help these go to the person that needs to hear this information. You know, I was doing it for the mission. And, you know, I'd be getting my nails done, doing it while I'm doing life. And I'd strike up a conversation with the lady next to me, which maybe I wouldn't have done before. I had a lady who joined my team briefly. From that conversation. And, you know, I've talked to people that worked at Starbucks and, hey, are they paying you what you're worth here? We're looking for some people. We keep your options open for ways to make money. I mean, you'll get creative if you want to come play the game, but have fun with it. And I won't do any late entries. So we're going to look, you know, Monday morning, and it's got to be time stamped. So please don't call me and go, I'm so sorry, I forgot to put it in. This is above the line. It's up to you to get those in by Sunday. Okay, so if you do it Monday through Friday, you could do it at the end of the day on Friday, or if you've got them done by Wednesday, put it in then. I don't care. So I'm going to post this up on the Voxer, and I'm going to put it also as a pinned post or announcement on Facebook. Okay, any questions? What do you guys think?
A little motivation and money always works. I think that's great.
Yes. And then we may sprinkle a few extra things through there for some of the people that get the most touches on the ball, as Rachel would say, throughout the contest randomly. We might have a few surprises up our sleeve, but we're not going to tell you what those are. You'll have to get busy and do it. So who's game?
I'm
I'm going to tell you guys right now, from this effort right here, will totally set you up for the whole rest of the year for momentum. Okay? All right.
Hey, I do have one question.
Yeah.
We can talk to customers if we're talking to them about becoming team members. Is that
Yeah,
what you
like
said? Or no?
customer care doesn't count. Like this is,
No,
this
but I
is
mean, if,
about a new customer or a new team member. Not a follow-up with a customer that's been there for 10 years. Okay.
So Reagan, on Sunday, September 1st, we should have 2 calls to you before the end of the day, because that's the 1st of September, right?
Well, that would be the end of that week, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, end of the week. So September 1 is the day it starts, just because it was easy beginning of the month, and then by the end of the week. So it would be weekly. Okay. Any other clarifying questions? Can you guys do it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's about, you guys, it's about our culture getting out and making a difference. That's what we're doing, right? And we want to be loud and proud about that. And I'm going to be in Italy, so I'll talk to people while I'm there. I'll try to. From September 6th to the 26th. But before that, I've got my work cut out for me too. So, okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Donna, stop the recording.
Awesome.